What is up, guys? Welcome back to another It's Melon video. Today, me and my friend Ken, we are going to be showing off all the bosses that are already out and thinking of some other bosses because we think Adventure Mode needs a buff. It needs an update. Just give it an update already, Yeeps. Please, give it an update. It needs it. So right here we have a thing for every single one of the bosses. I myself only count like two of these as actual bosses, and that's why we also have five creatures that we have drawn with boss style, which could possibly end up in the game the if Yeeps is like, oh yeah, no, that's a good idea. We should add that.
And to
But
clarify, we didn't forget about the Rat King. He just should not count as a boss at all.
yeah, no, the Rat King is not a boss. Not.
No.
All right, well now we're gonna show off every single boss with a descriptive thing about each one. Uh, and then we'll get to what we think should be bosses. So here we have all the things that could be, like, turned into a boss, and I don't mean turned specifically into a boss, but like with a boss-esque thing based off of them.
Like
Because
redesigned into a boss, you know?
no, not exactly. Like the Queen Bug. We'll use that as an example. So we have the Queen Bug, and then the normal bug. The normal, like, disgusting bug creature got buffed and turned into the Queen Bug, basically. So we feel like that could work with other mobs as well, so that we could have like stronger ones, like with the bat over by here. We could definitely have this turned into a Bat King, uh, with like some cool stuff. The Frailed Lizard could be a fire-spitting dragon. Rhino Beetle, Bug King. The Spitting Frog, a acid-spitting frog, but bigger. And then the special shelled crab, that could be a king crab, which would look friggin' awesome. But here's some like designs that we have for each one of these, and then we will explain some other things that we could definitely add to adventure mode. So we all know the bat, of course, because it's the only creature that comes out at night inside of the suburbs biome. And the thing that I think we could use the bat for is, since there is no boss specifically set for Suburbs Biome yet inside of Adventure Mode, we could have this beautiful creature. This is what I call the King Bat. It is the bat, but stronger. And what I believe it could do is spit out acid at, like, people. Because that would be, like, the best idea. And it would also have a weak point on the back, because how the queen opens up and then you have the weak point right there, it would be the exact same for the bat, so that you can hit it in the back a few times and it would die. But yeah, we need that, please. So right here we have the Frilled Lizard, and the reason why I think it could be a dragon is because I am a nerd, and so is Kenny, and we play a game called Dungeons and Dragons. And mostly I just believe a giant fire spitting lizard would be awesome, with like the same strength as the Queen Bug, but instead of spitting a ton of little acid pellets and having a ton of tiny little buglings, it spit out fire, and yeah, and it could fly. That would be awesome. Who doesn't want a dragon? Dragons are awesome. So we would probably use that for like the desert biome, but mostly what I feel like we should use it for is just another suburbs thing, or for the magical land. So right here we have the Fat Bug. It was the first known boss-esque mob inside of the game because of its big, heavy shell and the ability of being so strong. But what I feel like we could do is we could buff it so that since we already have the Queen Bug, we could add the King Bug. This is what I feel like it would look like if we had it, and it would have the same like ability to open up its stomach to hit it on the inside, and that would be the strongest way to kill it. And another like attack that it could do is since the big bug is able to like slam its head into things like a rhinoceros, since it's the rhino beetle, I feel like that would just be the best way to represent a giant king bug by turning the like rhino part into a crown, more or less. And it would go with the queen bug inside of the magic dungeon, since we need more dungeons. So the acid spitting frog is already a really cool mechanism that they have put into the game, with a tiny little abomination of a creature that can just go and spit on people, and it leaves an acidic residue. But what I feel like we could do is, inside of the like scientific area of the game, I forgot what that biome's called, we could put that in instead of the Rat King, because the Rat King, it's just a giant rat, and it doesn't even do that much if you really think about it. But the acid-spitting frog, that would probably be a very cool counterpart to the rat, if you like really think about it, because this is what it would look like. Just a giant fat frog that spits out more acid just as much as the queen bug normally would. And we could even have it do like a little thing where it like has the egg sacs, but it spawns in the spitting frogs. And we could have that as like a failed science experiment within the scientific biomes. So right here we have the armored crab, which is already just a very overpowered thing, since you can't really kill it without bombs, which I think is an awesome like technique to kill the giant crabs. But I feel like what we could do is make it so that the that the armored crab can turn into the king crab, which would be about the size of this, if you think about it. And it would have armor on it and like a crown on top, since it would be the king crab. And it would be a much better boss idea than the shark, since the shark isn't exactly a boss in my opinion. It's more of just a creature that chases you around, kills you, and gives you a jump scare. But this is what the king crab would probably look like if it was in game. But yeah, I just think that's a cool idea. So right here we have Gnome Capital, the #1 hangout spot of adventure mode, and like the #1 spot. And we have a few dungeons that are already in the game, but I feel like we do still need more dungeons, because we have Old Mines, Frost Vault, Facility X, Lava Depths, and then the one in Fantasy. Mostly, I feel like we could upgrade the ones that we already have, because Old Mines, that would be the perfect spot to put the Bat King that I've already shown. And I feel like it would just be a very cool add-on, because gold, that's not the best thing in Yeeps, because you can collect a lot of it by killing the queen bug even, which would be a much faster way to get all the gold that you need. And so what Ken and I feel like we should do is we should get emerald for in there, a nice green gem to go with the green environment. Then with Frostvault, I love that dungeon already, since it's the easiest dungeon in all of Yeeps. But we could definitely add on to it more than it already is, so adding some more puzzles, similar to the one where you have to get all the keys and get it correctly while fending off the wolves. With the Fantasy Village one, that one is the most dungeon-esque dungeon in all of Yeeps. Mostly because when you are in here, you are just going through a treacherous journey and then having to do a ton of obstacles and little tricks to get to a giant fight at the very end at the Lost Frog Kingdom, which is where the queen bug is, and I feel like we could add a king bug there as well and move the queen bug to the normal area. Then, if we go down to here, we have the desert area. Desert doesn't have a dungeon, but I feel like that could be the coolest dungeon in all of Yeeps if we just make it go off of Mineshaft, and it'll be like a giant area where you can like fight off the fire spitting salamanders and the armadillos.
In my opinion, I think somewhat of like a basalt mountain would be cool with a dragon at the top.
Then we have the Volcano Depths. That one is perfect, but the fact that it's a beach biome and it's not even an actual beach, it's just a volcano, that makes me think that we could get another dungeon that is more underwater themed, where you could fight the Crab King that we have already shown. So like in Ocean Village, you could just go under the water to that little area underneath the island, and then you'd like get to the dungeon. Then we have the Facility X. That one is more of a wave type battle, and I myself love a wave type battle, but I think that we could most definitely upgrade it. where you have wave 1, which is the easy wave, wave 2, which is the snails and rhino beetle, then wave 3, which would be the giant acid-spitting frog, as the final boss of that, where once you kill him, you get the keys, which will let you get the uranium. And also, if we do end up doing a desert town dungeon, what I feel like we could do is oil, because the desert is like the #1 place to find oil. But yeah, this is what we could do to upgrade the map and add more maps to adventure mode. But now what we are going to do is we are going to show the dungeon tech web if we end up upgrading adventure, because they have already moved items to different tech webs, so why not move some to adventure mode? Please, Yeeps, please do it for us. So right here we have the tech web. It is the #1 source to buy things in Yeeps, and I myself realized that they move things onto different tech webs every once in a while, which I think is great. But with the whole adventure mode idea, you could put so many things on an adventure themed tech web. Like these. A dagger. This is the thing that came out in the Goblins update. Goblins are a thing from Dungeons and Dragons, which means like this would be perfect on adventure on an adventure themed tech web. The shield, you could even add just a sword. It would be similar to the bat most likely, like this, but it would be more like the reskinned gladiator version that Ken owns. Yeah, throw it at me. It would be more like this, and it would go with this. We could move this from the beach to adventure mode. Then
Or we could add a sword that goes with this.
Yeah. Then you could add a crossbow and like a bow and arrow. That would be such a cool design to put into adventure mode. But if you want to see more of my ideas about this, just go into the Discord. Go into the Yeeps Discord. Go into the suggestions area and just search up adventure update. And I should be the top search there. So, see you in the next video. Peace out, Ismail and gang.